This is the exhibition, Dream Big, paintings by George Rodrigue. It starts with an early landscape of 1970. And here's a self-portrait. George is a little boy and George is the dog himself, yeah. Looming over that young George. It's called I Grew Up a Cowboy. So welcome to Dream Big. Let's take a walk around. Paintings from George's Hurricane series, and another series called Indian Time, swirling around the room. We have his very surreal, unknown world of rabbits from 1990, a very early Blue Dog painting, The Ragin' Cajun. Yeah, Baton Rouge Sports Festival. These are all Olympic gold medal winners. And the Immaculate Dog. This is the very first painting by Rodrigue that I acquired. It started my whole collection, which is now more than 400 works. The Great Clifton Chenier, playing dance music. The large pieces are paintings that George did for the windows of Neiman Marcus years ago. And that's one called Chanel No. 5. And there's another across the room, The Butterflies. It's a beautiful show. Everything has history. These are some post-Katrina dream series, fragmented pieces, and a very late flower children. George was very sick by the time he did this, but boy, you wouldn't know it, would you? Very joyful, strong. George's Santa Fe inspired pieces. There's some great ones in this show, including his portrait of Douglas out at Turquoise Hill. This is a piece that he did as a surprise for Douglas in 2010, based on Douglas's design for the 400th birthday of Santa Fe. And it's incredible portrait of the great Rosalie Murphy, the Grande Dame de Santa Fe, who founded the Pink Adobe restaurant 80 years ago this year, in 1944. She was from New Orleans, so George incorporated his oak tree there. This is from a photograph he took of her outside of the Dragon Room bar. George's bronzes make an appearance because he made his bronzes right here in Santa Fe area in Tusuki Village at Shidoni Foundry. This is the plaster cast for this bronze of Evangeline. Yeah. George's space-themed Fly Me to Mars, the butterfly wings. Yeah. And a very beautiful blue bayou. George used to say that as he grew older, his mind expands, and he replaces the earthy greens and browns of his early works with the mysterious and the mystical, like space, yeah? George's Best of Both Worlds, one of his last digital pieces, and fantastic, right? That went up in space on the space shuttle Endeavour with the astronauts. Good story there. More Santa Fe pieces. We have George's Spanish Dancer, 1986, from a photograph he took of a flamenco dancer on the Santa Fe Plaza, and a magnificent painting of Evergreen Lake. This painting premiered in 1987. At George's only other ever exhibition here in Santa Fe. This one was in it too. It was hosted by Rosalie Murphy in her apartment above the Pink to introduce George Rodrigue to Santa Fe and his art. When George finished this, and I walked into the studio in Carmel, he said, "What a picture." And I said, "That is a great painting, George. What are you gonna call it?" And he said, "What a picture." And that's what he wrote on the back. Yeah. She fly. Nothing is freer than butterflies, right? Butterflies are free. Butterflies are free. The blue dog could take George anywhere. This was the very first Rodrigue painting I ever saw. Lougarou, 1991. And it is the true beginning of the Blue Dog series. It hasn't been on view in a long time, and I'm glad to share it. These are two of the magnificent paintings from the Xerox collection around the year 2000, 2001. The first is PC Blues. You can imagine it in print form with the writing up at the top there, and on billboards and television commercials. This one is Family Business, which is based on George's IOE dinner of 1971. This is Secret Love from the book Blue Dog Love. Wearing love on his face. And this is like the types of pieces that George created for children's hospitals so that we all become a part of it, right? You can see me. And he invites us into the painting with this reflection so that we become one with the painting. Yeah. A part of it. These joyful symbols. One of George's last series that he didn't complete was called Hollywood Stars. Yeah, these Hollywood stars, they're trapped between who they are on the screen and who they really are. Between Marilyn Monroe on the screen, star, and Norma Jean. Speaking of movies, this is called Movie Star. You know, there's a movie coming out, Blue, The Life and Art of George Rodrigue, premiering at the New Orleans Film Festival next month, and in October of 2024, and then streaming nationwide in 2025. This is one of George's last paintings. It's called Pinkaboo. Pinkaboo. George also chose this frame, by the way, had it painted and finished at an automotive paint and body shop. But look at this, Pinkaboo. Pinkaboo. Wendy, I see you. There it is, on my shoulder. I think a real message for me. George's last portrait of me. And here's a message for all of us. George's last self-portrait, done when he was very sick. The dog's eyes have faded away. So important, yeah? The eyes are the window to the soul of the dog. And yet now, it's George's eyes that are strong. Why am I here? Where am I going? What does it all